let's project a future where the Niners do trade Deebo Samuel in the next couple of weeks for a bunch of picks this year. What happens next? What do they do?
I mean, you better do whatever you can. To me, and I've made this clear, it's all about your young quarterback and doing whatever to prepare him, to get him ready, and surrounding him with as many weapons as possible. I do think it starts up front, though. So making sure that whatever you do, you solidify that offensive line. But also, you definitely have to you need a receiver then. And it has to be somebody with explosive ability. Now, they don't have to be the same explosive ability as Deebo Samuel in the sense of, being a slant god. But if it's a guy that can win downfield right now to kind of stretch the field and open things up for your quarterback. But you're going to need somebody like that. The tough thing is a lot of that still is projection, where Deebo Samuel is the guarantee.
He's all pro. Yes. So, but again, let's say this happens and the Niners decide they're just not spending $30 million or whatever on Deebo Samuel, and they're going to trade and they get a late second. Let's say they get a late first. They have a late first this year, somewhere in the 20s. Which wide receiver you think would be their first choice if they had to get one to replace
I don't know
Deebo?
about them. I know who would be mine, man. It'd be Christian Watson out North Dakota State. Wow. I got my receiver rankings coming out, and he's my wide receiver too. They should be coming out today. I think the biggest knock on him is that, he played at the FCS level. But if you look at, just who he is and, comparing that type of player to previous draft classes, I mean, 6'4", 210 pounds. He's a fluid runner. He's extremely explosive. He plays as fast as his 4.36 40-yard dash time. He's a contested catch guy. He consistently runs by DBs. I was wondering what it would look like when at the Senior Bowl. I watched him closely all week at the Senior Bowl. I mean, he was the best receiver there. So, I mean, that to me, if he went to a Power 5, this wouldn't even be a discussion. So, he's there late first round.
210 wide receiver running that well after the catch, being used on special teams. It's really impressive.
I mean, he ran back, kickoff return. They used him on end of rounds. He did a lot of those things. So, I mean, that's a guy I would 100% look to get.
So, if this trade were to go down, and the Niners were to get 3 picks this year, all of them above 61 right now, you could see them taking a wide receiver, a couple offensive linemen. I mean, as much to help, because you're taking away the best offensive player from your team. You probably would need to replace him with multiple
Since
players.
Terrell Owens.
And it's I wonder also if they were to get, let's say they take the Green Bay Packers offer. Let's say they trade with the Packers and get 22, 28, and 53. They could take an offensive lineman, a wide receiver, and a running back. Not that anyone really likes the idea of drafting another running back that high, but I mean, is Elijah Mitchell really a starter?
I think he's a starter, but I definitely would pair somebody with him. I think maybe early day 3 you can get a guy like Pierre Strong. I really like him. And what it brings, another guy, South Dakota. So I mean, he's another FCS guy, but a lot of what he put on film, I mean, that guy could play. So that's somebody I would look to.
Leo says Buckner for 13, traded back to 14, and use those assets to trade up for Kinlaw. And then to Ayuk, and then use the additional cap to re-sign Jimmy Ward. It wasn't just Buckner for 13. I love how people still say this. So, okay, again, people were okay with trading Buckner after it happened. If the Niners trade Deebo, I think you'd be surprised how quickly fans would be okay with it, even though right now they think it'd be the worst thing ever. It's part of being a fan. Can't be too critical.
Well, a lot of people are excited about the unknown sometimes.
Yes, pretty much.
So I think, it's we got the 14th pick,
Rifle One says, why hasn't this been reported anywhere else? They were all over Kyler unfollowing Arizona. I think there's a little bit of a dispute whether he ever followed the Niners in the first place. And I don't know how you would even find that out. How do you find out if he ever followed the 49ers? That's the tough one. I haven't written about it either because I don't know.
I'm pretty sure there's some fans thirsty enough to have looked already and probably know. Yeah, they probably know.
But now we're all waiting to see if he changes his profile picture, because I think he still has his Niner jersey on the profile picture. Once it's a different profile picture, it's gonna be great. Oh, he's not wearing his jersey.
We'll be right back here talking about exactly what are they gonna get for him.
Yeah, exactly. Robert says, I worry about Watson's lack of production, 43 receptions on an FCS team. If he's so good, why didn't he tear it up in the FCS?
Run first offense. That wasn't their offense. It wasn't. They did And I heard their quarterback coach went on with my guy Jesse Naylor. He went on Last Second Sports podcast, and he talked about that. Where it's like, look, we didn't ask Trey Lance to throw a whole lot. We didn't ask Christian Watson to have to catch a lot of passes, but that doesn't mean that they can't do it. Like those guys were, when they were asked to do, like, hey, when we need you to do this, they were elite at that level at doing it. Right. So again, you see the traits, you see the ability, and you see, okay, he could do these things. Well, I got to see firsthand at the Senior Bowl what it looks like when he is being utilized to that standpoint. And they couldn't guard him. They couldn't run with him. They couldn't, if it wasn't raining on day 2, he would have caught like 5 bombs on those guys vertically. And he still had to make some contested catches, but the balls were just underthrown. So I think people get so caught up in like the production of things. Again, if maybe he went to Ohio State, where they're going to throw the ball around along, like, do you think that a 6'4", 210-pound 4'3" receiver couldn't get off there? You know what I'm saying? So it's just.
But what I'm hearing is like it's a function of the offense. Like North Dakota State is the best team in FCS, so they have a proven way of winning. They run the ball. They play like the Niners play, and they
use like 3 running backs.
Yeah,
and they had Trey Lance when he was there. Like he ran 4,000 as well.
Right. So that's how they play. But it's the same kind of thing happened to like Terry McLaurin. He was at a team that just had a way to win at Ohio State. They didn't feature him, but he was good. Just because he didn't tear it up in college doesn't mean he wasn't good.
And it was hard to see. I mean, all he did was run a crosser all day. I didn't have Terry McLaurin high because just crosser.
They didn't use him.
Crosser, but was it just run crossers? And same with, let's say, Jameson Williams out of Alabama. Yeah. He's my wide receiver 1 in this class. I think he's the best receiver in this class. He was sitting behind Olave and Garrett Wilson at Ohio State. He had like 15 catches each year. Then goes, and to me, he's the best receiver in college football. Sometimes it's just about opportunity.
Novin says Deebo, Shanny, and Lynch met for dinner last night in Florida. Oh, man, must have not went well if Deebo Samuel unfollowed the Niners. Great. I would hope that they would have dinner and work this out because he's really important. I'm just saying. And if they do sign Deebo to an extension, I'm taking credit. I made it happen, even though he blocked me. I was his agent on this one. I need 10%. Crocker, great answer on Watson. You convinced me. Boom. Absolutely.